This video shows how the ABR Fascia Gel contributes to the development and improvement of the facial expressive mimics, control of the eyes, the lips, and the overall muscles of the face in the 6-year-old boy who used nothing else for the face improvement except for the ABR Fascia Gel. Just the applications of the gel, no other physical treatments were engaged. Let's look at the results. So what we are seeing here at the before, this is the only type of the mimics that the boy was capable of when trying to do the articulated mimics. So his neutral face expression was like this. His active face expression, when he had to make some face, that's what he was doing. You can see very clearly the limits, so you can see how their forehead and the cheeks levels, they kind of just go towards each other, bridging over the nose, making this fold. And also you can see the way how the eye on the left is drifting inwards and not being very well controlled. So if we get more of this, what we are observing, that's how the boy is doing his best effort, and you can see that that mimic print stays very much kind of fixed and plastered throughout his movements. And the only thing that kind of made a change was this lateral shift, where you can see how the face gets a little bit distorted to the side. So that's all he had as the grimaces. Now let's probably say he had a one base expression of the face and one active expression of the face, which is this. Now let's look at the way how his overall performance has transformed. So the first thing is very obvious. You see here the control of the lips, the selective movement, super precise, and that comes via the very obvious change that shows us the articulation of the circular divisions of the lips and the extended lips from the circular organization of the cheek muscles and their attachment to the jaw, and the circular organization of the orbital muscles, plus the separate action of the forehead and temples. So this is where the ABR gel contributed in a very straightforward and simple way by impacting the properties of the fascia, which is connecting the skin to the muscles via that mesh, via that network of the mechanical fat and the integrated elements, which is in turn could be either too loose or too stiff, too glued, and our job is to improve its qualities with some biologically active ingredients to help ungluing and activating. So that's exactly what we observe as the change. And now let's go further and see more active participation of this boy, and let's count all the face expressions that he has now. So first of all, let's compare these neutral expressions. You can clearly see the difference between the two, and then let's go towards the active ones and let's start comparing them as well. So this is a cheeky expression. You can really see it. This is their scary expression. Again, you can see the articulation. This is more of the scary expression, and you can see that the eyes are still well controlled. This is a big smile. This is that articulation of the lips we already have seen. This is a super scary expression. A lot of the eyes movement and a lot of the facial participation. This is yet another cheeky expression. This is a very cheeky expression. Another expression, so that's kind of maybe a comparable one when he's trying to show him the angry face, but you can clearly see that that bridge over the nose that was really folding before is now, the nasal bridge is clear. You see the circular activity of the cheeks, you see the circular extended border within the lips to the cheeks and then around the lips. So all these contours are now under control. And another happy expression here. Another expression. So making a kind of crying face. Look at the control of the lips and all these new lines and convolutions that have emerged around it. So nothing even remotely like visible like that before. Again, a very big change in the facial expression, and here you see more, right? So the boy is really showing mimic after mimic after mimic, and here is the kind of stern expression. So this is what you see. So what we have seen here is the change from one active facial expression into at least 15 different ones, which allowing him to play and to reflect a different spectrum of emotion for every kind of occasion and well, need and challenge and desire that he would be willing to react with or express himself with. So that's really a huge change, and of course that really transformed the personality of this boy, making him a lot more like capable of self-play, of playing with others, of interacting with the other people, you know, his school participation and everything else. So all these elements, they have improved, not to mention, of course, their controls of the muscle tone, the improvement of the coordination, the skills, and pretty much everything else. So this is where we can see how the contribution towards the improved control of the orbitals as the fastest muscles of the body translates into the control of everything else throughout the rest of the body. This is how we see where we see that the activation of the specific mimic control translates into the improvement of the muscle tone throughout the body. And of course also we can see a very sophisticated coordination there. So this is a very remarkable result, but at the same time this is the result that presented itself conveniently because this family didn't do any physical applications, any ABR exercises, just the gel. And this is really the lesson for you, the observation for you, how much of the potential change is hidden and could be reclaimed with as simple of a tool as the ABR Fascia Gel. And of course we are using the example of the face as the illustration, but this type of change is present everywhere, right? So you see there types of the responses that ABR Fascia Gel gives. It goes universally to the links between the skin, muscle, and the mechanical fat, and also between the skin, tendons, and mechanical fat, skin, tendons, mechanical fat, and ligaments. So all of those components. But the change of the face is just the best illustration, but it's the same type of responses, which is true not only for the face, but it would be also true for example, the muscles of the neck. It would be true for the muscles of the rib cage. It would be true especially for those areas where the skin and the underlying layers, they come close to the bones, and that's where we usually recommend the application of the ABR Fascia Gel, and that would be also the feet, hands, and so on. So the changes are very obvious, and it's very easy to understand their applicability to a child in any condition, from more severe to mild and moderate, and applicability to any place of the body, because the fascia has this universal response, which is defined by the ability of the ABR Fascia Gel to motivate the interstitial activation, which then leads to the activity of the fibroblasts, and that's the stimulus to the mechanical fat. So this is a great illustration, and you see the boy is showing his surprise and, well, inviting you to the kind of getting the right learning out of this lesson. Thank you very much, and looking forwards for equally spectacular successes for your